To the Money Table. My name is Rhonda Chaplin. I'm here with Mr. Mark Mollon.
How you doing, Rhonda Chaplin?
How are you doing today?
I am doing great. I am so excited about everything that we're going to be talking about today. And by the way, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, today we're going to be focusing on helping business owners to mind their own vision. Awesome. You know, oftentimes we say mind their business, but we want people to start minding and owning their vision.
Exactly.
Are you ready to talk about that?
Let's do this.
Okay.
So we have Poppin' in the news, right?
Yes.
So it's one of our topics that we use to touch on the day-to-day things that are happening in our life. And today we're talking about Amazon, which we all know because let's face it, we talk about Amazon all the time. And
well, you do.
Okay, well, let's say we order from Amazon, but today I'm a little excited because they just introduced this program that they're going to be spending $700 million in a program. And this should be near and dear to you, right?
It is so near and dear to my heart. Because over the past few years, a lot of companies have lost sight around the importance of investing into their people. And what I really love about this model is that it's not just about the current state of where their employees are, but they're also looking at long term. They're looking at succession planning. They're looking at, you know, what we're investing this money today to help our future leaders.
And talking about, you know, investing. So they're doing this $700 million. And you think that's a lot of money. But what is that going to do? What's that program like?
So it's for the professional skills, of course. It's leadership skills. And one of the things that they are really adamant about is ensuring that it hits all lines of their business. So someone from the warehouse all the way to their corporate office has the opportunity to partake in the training programs that they're investing in.
And I think that's so important because when we look at the way things are going right now with technology and everything coming into play, you want to create opportunities for people to grow. Correct.
And one of the things that I really appreciate, and of course I'm biased because I have a human resources background.
Really?
Yeah. But the senior VP of HR, one of the things that she really impressed upon was the fact that she is understanding to the fact that not everybody is going to stay with them.
Exactly.
So she wanted to create a program that would support them while they're there, but with the understanding that they will develop skills that they'll be able to take anywhere.
Exactly. No, it makes a lot of sense. So Rhonda, with the $700 million that Amazon's going to be spending, that's for a program that's going to exist for 6 years.
Yes.
It's going to address 100,000 employees, right?
Correct.
So this is part of a major pain point that we're addressing. And we know that you and I are always talking about pain points and how that can help businesses grow, that can help businesses fulfill their true purpose for their money or for their American dream, whatever you want to call it. But the key here is that this is a good start. But one of the things that we had talked about personally, you know, before coming here was that, is that enough?
And you know what, in this season where we are, a lot of businesses, their pain point is not finding good employees. And it is a lot to attract good talent, and not only to attract them, but to keep them.
Right.
Development is at the top of the list of what people want to experience in the workplace. So of course, you know, I think all small business owners, they really need to incorporate some sort of development program. You and I always talk about it,
exactly.
You know, building a total rewards program and invest back into their employees. But it really is addressing that main pain point that businesses have, which is, you know, I'm not able to find good employees. And then when I find them, I'm not able to keep them.
Exactly. Because of the lack of not finding good employees.
Exactly.
So you're fighting, everyone's fighting for the same pool of people.
Correct.
And that's where this programs such as these are so important, because we can't keep doing the same thing.
Correct.
And as long as technology is coming the way it is, I mean, face it, these individuals, these employees that are working in the warehouses, machines are going to be able to replace that.
All right, the tech is coming out.
I'm just saying, you know, if we look at, you know, I'm not saying that we're going to base our life off of movies, even though they do play a significant role. But it is important to understand that it doesn't take a person to move a box from one belt to a shelf.
Correct.
A machine can do that.
That is
so
correct.
What happens to the people? That's the fear of technology. What happens to the people?
And that's where we fall into the underemployment issue.
Exactly.
Oftentimes we want to focus on the unemployment. I don't worry so much about unemployment.
It actually drives you crazy when people focus on that.
Because the thing is that you raise a good point. If the artificial intelligence comes in, the robots, right? If they come in and displace some of the current employees, then what ends up happening? They now either, if they have a full-time job currently, they may now have to go and experience taking a part-time position. But what happens with that money gap?
Exactly.
Underemployment, right? And, we have a lot of college students. How many of them want to get into the tech role and they're not able to find the positions? So it becomes where we go back to the main point of development is key. It is so key, and if more small business leaders take that stance, then how much better off would they be at finding great talent, but keeping them as well?
So the employers have to understand this logic, not just creating these programs, but understand its true purpose. What's the end goal in mind?
Right.
So if they're understanding it, we need to make sure that we're still creating job opportunities.
That is correct.
Then you need programs like this. I believe Walmart also has a similar program. There's several companies that are literally, they will take care of your college credits.
Yes.
If you are applying for a skill set that's similar to their mindset.
That is
as far
correct.
as business preparation, anything like that. So this is so needed, but this is a good start. The issue is that it needs more. It needs to evolve even faster.
It does. And that's why we always say minding your own vision, right?
Exactly.
Because the thing is that people get attracted and they want to attach their part of their why to grow your vision. But the thing is that you have to then do what? Feed back into them so that way it's a win-win.
Exactly.
Not only are you helping them to grow what their vision is for their personal, professional life, but at the same token, they're now invested in helping small business leaders to then do what? Grow their vision.
Exactly.
So Amazon, and it's no wonder that Amazon is growing at such a fast rate. It's because they invest in their employees and employees are investing back into their vision, and it's translating into more sales, greater experiences, where now they're even creating a model where they are on the short list of becoming one of the greatest places to work.
Exactly.
And wouldn't it be great? We're both business owners. Wouldn't it be great to say, hey, we both have companies where we're established as a great place to work?
I would love that. That's the goal, right? So, somebody might say, well, look, Mark, look, Rhonda, I don't have $700 million to spend into a program like that.
I thought you were going to give me a check for
I'm talking for someone else. but still, we know that we have an audience that's going to have some people that are small business owners.
Right.
But yet this principle still applies.
That is correct. And that's the reason why, you and I both kind of believe in the whole, profit first model.
Exactly.
Where you're allocating.
For our audience, they may not know what that profit first model is.
So profit first is where there's specific allocations where it's, you're looking at sales minus profit, then equals expenses. So that way you're not overspending from an operating expense standpoint, but then you're also allocating monies and setting it aside and understanding that profit pool is going to help you grow your vision.
Yep. So now that they understand what the profit first model is, then so we want to apply this strategy into the small business owner. So what are some of the steps that they can do to say, hey, look, I don't have the 700 million. Maybe I don't even have 100,000, but still, what can I do to make sure I'm still providing the best for my future plans, for my employees, for the employer? What are some of those steps you can recommend?
I always say it first starts with making a decision. If you
I should have known, a visionary architect.
But the thing is that that's the biggest hurdle I find in talking to leaders.
Isn't that amazing?
It's just shifting and making a decision that this is just as important to me as it is for my employees. Because we can do all of the surveys in the world and say, you know what, I'm just going to throw you more money. But if that's not what your employees want or future employees want, then you have to kind of just first make a decision that, you know what, this is going to be a part of the culture.
Right.
We are developing a training mindset. That's the first thing.
Okay.
Do you know, after after that, the rest is easy. Because
sad but true, yes.
It is, because there are a lot of great resources to help business owners to address and grow their business, grow their vision. But in addition, it's also to help address employee concerns.
Right.
And one of the things that we always talk about is, not just developing the skill-based training programs, but also a wellness program.
Right.
And I know, Mark, that you are very passionate about going into employers and in talking to their employees about addressing real-life financial concerns.
Well, I mean, it's both of ours, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I go in and I talk to the employees, and I could talk to employers as well. But in this case here, let's be more specific with the employees, right? A lot of them, for instance, they have these great resources they can capitalize on.
Right.
But do they understand it?
Exactly.
Do they understand the fact that, hey, okay, not only do we have these programs, what about a simple thing as a 401k?
Retirement.
Right, exactly. It's unbelievable the number of people who don't even contribute to it.
And that was one of the frustrations, even from an HR standpoint.
I can imagine.
Getting people to understand that here you have access to this retirement program.
Actually, let me add one thing, because here's a perspective. Being in the industry as far as the HR part, how many like-minded people like yourselves were there to actually maybe encourage employees to say, hey, this is what we're offering? I mean, is that something that you saw missing in the environment?
So one of the things that I found that was missing was the time to do it on a continuous basis. So we had two entry points. We had when an employee started their employment. However, they're not eligible for quite some time.
Right.
And then it was addressed again during open enrollment. But to have that continual education, and remember, I oversaw a multi-site.
Right.
So that continual information, that continual education, you just didn't have the time to do it.
Which was one of your frustrations.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's the reason why I enjoy partnering with you and the larger organization to be able to say, hey, we'll come and we'll do lunch and learns for you.
Exactly.
We'll educate your employees for you. And at the same token, those business owners come out like superstars.
Exactly.
Because they're able to say, hey, this is embedded in our vision, in our culture, to not only provide excellent service to our clients, but also to our internal clients, which is our employees.
Right.
And it addresses those real life concerns because, I'm a numbers person. And when I hear 69% of Americans they're not set up for any savings in retirement, that strikes my heart. And I know it does with you as well. So it's really around ensuring that how can we kind of shift the landscape so that number of, half of all families have zero saved for in retirement, that we can kind of shift the landscape and move that needle a little bit.
Well, I think it goes back a lot of what we talk about quite often about quality of life. It's not just about going to your job on a regular basis. That in itself, we talk about true purpose for money.
Yes.
And when we talk about true purpose for money, it's what is that goal you're setting for yourself? So I love what you said previously about, helping employers understand their decision, that choice they have.
Yeah.
And I think what's near and dear to you that employers have to understand is whatever they decide, one of their greatest assets, their employees.
Yes.
They have to include that into the equation.
That is
correct. It's a must, and it's one of the reasons why there is that gap as far as the not enough people are planning for retirement, but yet so many employers are providing these retirement plans as part of their benefits.
Right. And even, and I do want to address the small business owners that are kind of like, I want to transition, but I don't have enough capital. I don't have enough profit yet to add on employees. It starts with them. And I constantly talk to solopreneurs, right?
But I want you to really emphasize that because that is so key. It starts at the top.
It does. And oftentimes before I got to a place where I started hiring staff, I first made sure that I walked the talk. I made sure that I first started my solo 401k, that I first implemented life insurance. The same benefits that I had in corporate America, I first established that for myself. So now as I bring people on, it becomes where, you know what? this is a part of the vision. This is a part of the culture, because I want to make a dent in the fact that, half of families have zero saved for retirement. And that's what I really encourage other business owners, whether it's just you for right now, start with you.
Exactly.
And then as you start to grow your vision, it becomes natural. But it first starts with making a decision that, I'm going to make this a part of my model, and watch how fast your vision grows. And then you're able to shift from that pain point of, I'm not able to find good employees, where now you won't have to find them. They will find you.
And that is an ultimate scenario for anyone.
For all recruiters out there, that is like the number one. It's so much easier when you have people going online and saying, I read about your company and you're who I've been looking for, versus constantly having to run ads on Craigslist and all LinkedIn. It becomes where you just want to have people just coming and saying, I want to be a part of this. I want to help you grow it. I want to help attach my part and bring it to you. And before you know it, you have a growing, flourishing business, and where you will be saying, hey, I have $700 million to invest in my team. Wouldn't that be great?
That's why we're doing this today.
Yes.
And you said something I want to kind of recap on, just to make sure that our viewers are understanding, is the importance of starting now. Because this is something I talk to my one-on-one clients that, it's only making $20,000 a month. Right. Excuse me, $20,000 a year.
Oh, that would be great.
I know. So whether you're making $20,000 a month or $20,000 a year, the rule still applies.
Yes.
That we want to create these buckets, and it's just a term that we use, and each bucket has an assignment. And I love your profit first model because it addresses that.
Correct.
You have to put money aside for your day-to-day living. You have to survive. You have to put money aside for emergencies.
Yes.
As you talked about there in the stats. And that is crucial, whether you are an employee or an employer.
Yes.
If anything, it becomes even more relevant as an employer. Would you agree with that?
Yes. And that is the reason why, we have this, we're focusing on minding your vision. Because anytime I'm talking to any type of business owner, I don't care if you have one employee, what is your vision? And then it's around, all right, let's plan for the growth. So if you say to me, my vision is to have 3 employees by the end of next year, then what we do is we set up a vault account. That's part of the profit first model. So now you're allocating monies to this vault account, and that vault account is called your payroll account. So therefore, when someone says to me, next year I see myself adding staff to my business, then it becomes where now we start to fund this vault account, and we'll name it payroll account.
Exactly.
So that way, once you start hiring people, you've already established this account, and then you'll never have to worry about missing a payroll.
So what you're really talking about in layman's term is being proactive instead of being reactive, right?
Exactly.
So yeah.
But that's what will sustain businesses.
Correct.
It's all about sustainability. And especially when you're minding your vision, then you're planning for things for your growth. You're planning for things like development. You're planning for things like, establishing the importance of an employee wellness program. Those things begin to be critical. And that's just on the people piece.
Right.
Can you imagine when we start looking at the operational efficiency and now the people and the profit is already established.
Right.
So that's why I was saying it's so easy.
Well, but it's so easy, but it's getting to the employer. So, one thing I want to emphasize is what you do as far as being a visionary architect and how relevant that is, because one of the things that we both see all the time is that the biggest hurdle for so many small business is that person on top.
Yes.
And the fact that they haven't outlined their vision.
Correct.
What is it they have? And let's be very clear. This is something I learned from you, that there's a difference between the owner's vision versus the company's vision.
Correct.
And that was powerful for me. I want you to expand on that a little bit more if you don't mind, but I just want to emphasize how important that is, because if the head doesn't get it, then the company it's doomed.
Right, because everyone, I always start out with, what do you see? What do you see for your business?
Exactly.
And then what do you see for yourself? Because there's a bigger purpose that you have. For some people, it may be that they want to grow their business in order to sell it, right? And then for others, they want to build a legacy. They're looking at really, this is for my seed, my children's children, children's children. But it's first, what is it that you see?
And the legacy one is so important because that's where it's important to have everything we talked about, especially the profit for everything you just referenced plays a significant. In other words, if you don't have that, you might as well forget the legacy building.
Exactly. And you're a big believer. I mean, you're a co-founder of Legacy Builder Group.
Exactly.
How fitting. But I know that's near and dear to you and your sister around building a legacy, not just for yourselves, but also for your children and then for your grandchildren, and it goes on. But that's a lot of business owners. That's a lot, and forget about titles. It's about people.
Exactly.
Right? They have a vision for where they see themselves. It's bigger than them, but then also for their business, so that way their employees can attach to it and help them grow.
Exactly. And that creates the environment that you said, well, now you have employees running to you because you've created that environment for them to succeed as well.
Yes. So you've built the skill-based training, but then you also have now secured and resolved some of the issues that enter into the work environment, which are those financial real-life situations. You're helping them to cultivate their kind of long-term personal goals as well.
Yes. So, Rhonda, I want to thank you so much for really capitalizing on this topic here.
Well, thank you.
I know it's a team effort, but the part that I really love, and I just want to say this real quick, is you bring so much. I know we bring to the table our unique experiences, but coming from an HR background, it's very critical for everyone out there to understand that just because you have an HR department, they are not structured. For many of them, they're not structured to really be there for you, to be there to help you understand, number one, what your benefits are. And more importantly, understanding the profitability, the operations, all these things that for you, you saw those errors. So that's why I want to give you special thanks, because you decided something had to change and you came into play and you took action.
Right. But that's the reason why a lot of us started our businesses, is because we noticed something was missing. I want to be a support to my fellow peers in HR or operations, and also to be able to help business leaders. And you saw something that was missing in the realm of finances, and that's why you stepped out and grew your business as well. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you for joining us this week. For more information on items that we covered this week, from Profit First to legacy building to incorporating into your business either skill-based training or a financial literacy program, please visit www.themoneytable.com.
And we will see you next time on The Money Table.